everybody. I tried to explain this to a young lady in the comments under my book, and I guess she misunderstood me. This song is composed, created, and sung by a group of witch doctors who wear white because their ancestors' power is white, right? They are they literally go around singing and healing people, and that's all they do, because in my part of Africa there's no witch doctor who teaches anyone anything. I believe the only ones that do are on YouTube, and it's the younger generation, and I'm way older than the younger generation that's doing it right now, but then they use their own languages, so nobody really gets to understand except their own tribe. Yeah, anyway, this is gonna be a really long video. Please do not timestamp my reading. If I see it, I will immediately delete you, because you will just be bringing the YouTube algorithm to my channel and they will shut off my comments, right? Because that time stamping thing was being used by pedophiles. And so now the algorithm, it picks up a time stamping, they come and they shut off your comments. And if it happens once, it happens twice, then they just shut off all the comments for all the videos. I've actually had a couple of videos that have had comments taken down because people time-stamped them. YouTube sent us all messages telling us that we have to control our comments. If we do not patrol our streets, they will shut us down. Literally. No more isms, no more racism, no more sexism, no more transgender hatred, no more gay hatred. I don't know why anybody would be hating on anybody, especially those who are true to themselves. But anyway, no more any of that. In YouTube comments, they said if they see it, they will shut us down. And I said, well, I was already patrolling my streets. I mean, my country is pretty clean, except for one or two rogues that do come from other countries and they don't know our rules. So here are the rules. Welcome to the new subscribers. I have a lot of subscribers. I am very shocked. I am very surprised, and I'm very pleased. And I thank you. I have so many subscribers who just came. And these are the rules. This right here is a country. The metaphysical is made up of countries, and the countries are religion. There is Christianity, Judaism, Islam, the Bantu religion, the Nilotic religions. The Nilotic religions are your Oshun and your Ogun, I'm sure. I don't know anything about that. And all that. Each religion has its own country and its own space, and each religion has its own immigration, right? And when you die, right, you go to the religion that you believed in. And now here's the catch. Okay, each religion has an immigration office. So let's say, for instance, you are like me, Bantu in religion and Christianity in religion, right? So let's say me, for instance, I know that when I die, the first immigration I'm going to go to is Bantu, right? So let's say they say to me, hell no, girl, you did some bullshit, or hell no. Right? I will then be sent by God to the Christians. And then the Christians will have to vet me. And if they say, oh, hell no, girl, and let me warn you people, Christianity rejects 95% of its people. Justifiably so. Anyway, the thing is, I am following the rules of the metaphysical, and this YouTube channel of mine is a country. And this country, right, is for everybody. We have the citizens. Some of you have been with you forever. We have the citizens. And then we have the tourists, right? Tourists and citizens, please behave yourselves in the comments channel, or I will do exactly what they do in the metaphysical, in the veil. If you do not behave yourself, they will fucking kick you out. Then you'll be like lots of Christians, so-called Christians, who are roaming the streets aimless and are about to become evil spirits. And once upon a time, they used to call themselves pastors. You know? Yeah. So let's behave ourselves. Let's be kind to each other. Let's give out loving vibes. Let's give out great vibes. I'm in special need of great vibes. I'm really in special need of great vibes. But like I said, I have a lot to say today before I get into the reading of R. Kelly and Joycelyn and Azriel. Okay, right. So, let's give each other good vibes, and I desperately need good vibes right now. So I put up my video of a light in the candle just to tell you guys that it is coming in December. And while I was making it, my laptop crashed 30 times. No joke. And I wasn't surprised. I've had the dark skill practitioners whom I mentioned in the book reach out to me through dreams with cease and desist. So I wasn't surprised. And I'm not surprised when only 5 copies will sell. Okay. So that's the only pre-marketing you're getting, bitches and dudes, okay? Because I know only 5 of you are strong enough and have the light to reject suggestions from the dark side and will actually buy it. Don't feel bad. You ain't the only ones. Do you know that I have a book that is read in an African university, in a Southern African university, and they actually have to write notes and essays, and they are tested and examined on it. Okay. I was that powerful a writer, and my books would fly off the shelf in Southern Africa. Okay, they would fly off the shelf, and I was a happy girl, and all I wanted to do was write. And one day, my publisher released a book. She called me 2 weeks later, and she said, surprise, not one copy has been bought. I said, excuse me? She said, not one. So we're going to have to do some aggressive advertising. Let's get on with it. I worked like a dog. Advertising a book is the hardest shit on God's green earth. And I was already well known. I already had a name. I already had a book that had been accepted at universities and was mandatory reading. But I worked like a dog. 2-3 months later, I'm exhausted. I've been working 18-hour days marketing this book. She says to me again, not one copy has been bought. So, I fell on my knees and I cried. I actually cried. Falling on my knees and crying is something I do on the regular. I actually cried. Then I said, okay, I need a break. She said, no, let's publish another one. Let's see what happens with the other one. We published another one because I was a popular writer. Again, not one copy. So I'm talking to my cousin one day. This time I fell on my knees and I cried even harder for even longer. During the time that my books were not being bought, not even one copy, I entered a short story competition and I won an award. And they asked me to come to the gala to do a big do-da-do. I refused because I was so depressed. I closed all my drapes. I stayed in my house. I locked myself behind my walls. And I stayed and stayed and stayed and stayed. For months, I did not get out of my house. My bestie said to me there were cobwebs at my door. So, she, when I refused to go, she had to come and knock on the door to give it to me, and they wanted a photo opportunity. I snatched the certificate, the money, and the medal, and I said goodbye, and I slammed the door, and I went back in. And I was talking to my cousin, whom I totally adored, who is in the book, A Light in the Candle, and he practices dark magic. He is a dark skills practitioner like all members of my family. So he said to me, oh, your mom shut down your writing career. And I said, excuse me? And he said, yeah, she shut down your writing career. She said it was embarrassing to have a daughter who was a writer. It's too embarrassing. So she shut it down. So you are never, ever going to sell a single copy of any of your work. At the time, I wasn't very much into my purpose. I had been blocked. It's all in the book. I had been blocked so many times as a child. I had been tortured as a child because of it. I had really suffered and I was very removed from it. So when he told me that my mother blocked it, I knew that she had done some dark magic I knew that she had done some dark stuff. She'd put a spell, she'd blocked it. But then I said to myself, okay, if I wait a few years, the spell will break, because every spell breaks after a certain period of time. So I went back to college and I got a master's degree. That's what I always do. When I'm taking a break from life and the world, I go back to school, and I have lots of degrees. I go back to school and I do something, and then I come back, giving time to the spell to eradicate. Then I thought, okay, it's been quite some time. During that period, I wrote about 200 books. I have hundreds and hundreds of unpublished work. So I wrote about 200 books, and I waited and waited, and I said, okay, it's been like 5 years now. Let me try to publish one book and see what happens. I contacted my old publisher. She took one, because, oh my God, I mean, she has a whole library of my work she had a whole library of my work that was unpublished. So she took one, she published it. We did the pre-marketing, we did the marketing. I was talking on radio, I was talking on YouTube, I was talking everywhere where there was an African in that country. 3 months later, she says, not one book. And I was suicidal. Then I tried to go and get help from other witch doctors. There is something in the witch doctor's code that says, there's something in our religion that says a mother has a right to do what she wants with her child. And because of that code, none of the witch doctors would help me undo this spell that my mother put on my writing, because she said writing was for whores. So began my journey into what I'm doing now. So began my journey into accepting my ancestors and into working with my ancestors, right? I started this journey to defend and protect myself. I started by giving readings, like I said, to my friends and to people, especially when I was drunk, because when I'm drunk, I'm damn good, I think. And then I used to stop because of depression and misery, because my work wasn't selling. Because guess what? I continued to write, but my work still wasn't selling. And then I would stop because I was depressed. So I said, okay, what if I change my name? I'm going to change my name. If I change my name, everything will be better. So I changed my name to Isobel Mitton, and I would still give readings to my friends. And then it's in the book. This is not in the book. Then my cousin decides that he's going to help me, but actually he was helping himself. That part is in the book. But anyway, he introduces me to a witch doctor who tells me that I have the strongest ancestors ever. I'm an apex witch doctor. I am fire, I am water, I am earth. And I am, fire, water, earth, and air. Right? You are all four. You can harness all 4 elements. You are the 1% of witch doctors. And your mother and your father have been destroying you and killing you because of it. Both my parents are dark skilled. My dad is dead, but he was a dark skills practitioner, like my brother and my 2 sisters. So anyway, he said to me, the only way you can beat this, the only way you can open your writing, is if you not only embrace it, but you strengthen yourself and you work at it and you work at it. Then you'll be able to see. Then you'll be able to undo what your mother did. Then you'll be able to undo what your brother did. Because by that time, my brother had also added on his spells to my work. Then you'll be able to undo what your brother did. Then you will be able to undo a whole lot of bullshit. Then you will be okay. So I said, all I have to do is work on my gift. A gift I was born with, a gift that's blocked on and off. And he said, yes, because your gift comes from your ancestors. You need to strengthen your ancestors, because your ancestors are only as strong as you are. Then you can fight the evil yourself. Starting a few years ago, I think, I started seriously working on this, learning more about my ancestors, learning more about the metaphysical world, questioning shit, and putting in the practice of readings, because readings are a muscle a good witch doctor requires. I need to see where the evil is coming from. I need to see it before it hits. And this was all for selfish reasons. Okay, I needed to see what had been done to me, and I needed to see what was being done to me, and I needed to undo this curse that was put on my writing. So I started practicing telling fortunes. I started practicing for real, and then I ended up on YouTube because my grandmother decided YouTube is a really good idea, because you're just doing it by yourself and you're just telling your friends, and you if you go onto YouTube and you record it, you'll be able. They tricked me. You'll be able to see your progress. So I did. I had 123 people on this YouTube when I started doing it. It was all for me, for selfish, much required reasons. The biggest reason was that I was gonna break the curse my mother put on my writing. Okay. That's the biggest reason. Not to mention stopping her from killing me, and stopping my brother from killing me, and stopping my 2 sisters from killing my son. Those were the reasons. This is why I do what I do. Okay, those were the reasons. Anyway, this week I needed to get, every 3 months, I need to get a metaphysical checkup from another witch doctor. So I don't use witch doctors from my own tribe because I don't trust them. So I use witch doctors from another tribe, and I actually learned something new. You can actually get a new soul. So he said to me, you're releasing a book just now? And I said, oh yeah. I hadn't told him anything. He said, okay. He said to me, you're releasing a book very, just in a few days or a couple of weeks. And he said, it's not going to sell. Not at all. If I were you, I wouldn't bother. If I were you, I wouldn't put money in it, because, you are cursed. And right now, because the book is about them, they are so busy stopping it from happening. And that's why my computer crashed 30 times when I was doing that 1.35 minute little video, right? It's not going to sell, he said. He said, I'm so sorry. Basically, this might take you a lifetime to break. You may die in extreme poverty, because this curse was lifetime dated, and you may die in extreme poverty, because people will always say, I'm going to buy that book. Oh, interesting. But they'll never buy. Just like with all the other books before, not before the curse was put into play, but just like with all the other books after the curse. And he said, you might die on the streets. You might die in extreme poverty because you don't really like to tell fortunes. You're a very reluctant witch doctor. You don't value yourself. And I said, no, I don't value myself. I don't give a fuck about this life. This life has been hard. So he said, that's really strange for a witch doctor. If you don't value yourself and you don't value life, how do you value other people? And I said, it's easy. I've been through so much. When I work with people, I'm like, I'm going to save you, bitch. No one saved me. I died. And no one gave a fuck. And no one still gives a fuck. But you know what? I'm going to give a fuck where you are concerned. Okay, I am going to save you. I'm going to make this metaphysical journey for you as easy as it can be. I am going to remove the veil that is in front of your eyes, the illusion that is in front of your eyes, so that you don't get your whole life wasted in illusion. So I am here to save them from what happened to me. And he said, that I respect. I respect that a great deal. And I say, thank you. And he said, you're still here because your ancestors literally hold you up. And your religion is very active in keeping you here. I said, I know. I tried to commit suicide once. I overdosed. I was done. I overdosed on a whole lot of drugs I collected and a whole lot of bottles of wine. I went to bed. I said, goodbye, world. I'm done with you. This existence is disgusting. I shall try again in the next lifetime. I went to bed. I had a veil experience. I walked through the veil. I talked to my ancestors. They talked to me. Blah, blah, blah. The next day, I was awake. No side effects. I'd sweated everything out. Literally. Within 3 hours. And I up and went. And I said, so I can't even kill myself. And he said, you're a suicider. In your last life, you reached that point too, where people took everything from you and you killed yourself. And in the last life before that, and in the last life before that, you have continued the suicide cycle in every lifetime. I said, yeah, this I know. You're not the first witch doctor to tell me this. Then he said, do you know why you were sent to me for this 3-month metaphysical checkup? And I said, I don't know. And he said, do you know what my specialty is? And I said, I don't know. I was just giving your name, dude. And I just called. And he said, I deal with the dead. You are dead. And it's only a matter of time. And I said, okay. And he said, that's why you were given to me. And I said to him, nobody buys my books. I've got like 500 of them. And I just keep them on the computer. And the only reason I'm even publishing them is because some guy stole them. Then I realized that at least if I publish them, even if they are defunct, at least if I publish them, right, they may benefit my son in the future when I'm long gone because nobody buys my work. And he said, nobody's going to buy this work too. If I were you, I wouldn't pre-market it at all. And he said, there are some things that happened to you that will play out throughout the rest of your life. And he said, but you know what I see? I see you publishing this book. Then I see you killing yourself. Because no one has bought that fucking book. So I'm just preparing you. Okay. But if you kill yourself, let me tell you that your book will be very, very controversial because you killed yourself. Right? But I don't think that's the reason why I would. I'm just like exhausted, right? So anyway, the point is he said, I am telling you what you need to know. So, I woke up. I was very, very depressed this morning. Extremely depressed. And when I'm depressed, I usually do something creative. I know a light in the cave is not going to sell. He says there's going to come a time when you make a decision to be a witch doctor or not to be a witch doctor. Basically, that's the only decision you have left. To read or not to read. And I said, I love reading people, right? Because I'm helping you. Whether you think I am or not, I am helping you. I'm helping you, bitch. Okay, I'm helping you. I am making your life less harder than mine has been. Then he said, but still, you're coming to a point where you are going to have to make a choice because this shit doesn't make you happy. Your books, your writing make you happy, and they took that from you. So now you feel you have nothing. And this will take a whole lifetime to clear. Then he said to me, you could always get a new soul. And I said, excuse me? And he said, your soul has been so jujued, you can actually get a new one. You can actually request this one to be gone and to get a brand new one. Now, that one I've never heard before, but trust and believe I am researching that shit. I am going to research that shit to see how it is that a person can get a new soul. Then he also told me that I'm also gonna make another decision. Whether I'm going to do yoga and find some peace and zen with this life that I hate, or start killing people. He said, that's another decision you're going to have to make. Because if you can't kill yourself, you got to kill somebody. I always say kill somebody. You don't have to kill yourself. But that's what he said. He said, as a witch doctor, you are reaching that stage, that moment when you make that choice. Are you going to be zen with this life that you despise and you hate so much and it doesn't bring you any happiness? Or are you going to take your revenge on everybody who did evil to you, who stopped your writing, who stopped the things that you love, who took everything from you? You may have to spend the rest of your life hunting them down like dogs and killing them one by one. And my reading was over. So why am I venting to you? When something is said out into the open, when you say it out into the open, when you put it into the winds, when you put it everywhere, the winds carry it to the metaphysical. When people talk about it, the winds carry it to the metaphysical, and I will get an answer directly from God. That was a very hard reading and a very real and true one for me. Without my writing, I don't have a life. Without a life, why am I existing? Even right now, I'm like, okay, let me help others. This life is unbearable, but let me help others. Let me give readings. Let me help them. Let me be there for them. But who's there for me? Besides my ancestors, of course. Because he went on and on about how my ancestors were holding me up and how my entire religion was holding me up because I am on my knees, I'm crawling, and how so good God was to me because he brought a beautiful soul into my life so that she could help me stand. And I just told her this today, that you were sent to me by God to help me stand because I can't stand anymore. And he said, that's how special you are to God. That's how important you are. And that's why they came at you so hard. Yeah. The good thing about doing readings As much as I don't like it, once I'm in it, I'm closer to my ancestors, and that's why I'm doing this reading right now on a Sunday, which has been one of the hardest days of my life. I'm doing it now so that my ancestors can come close to me, and so that by the time I go to bed, I'll be okay. Because they always are here when I am doing this. They are stronger and they're more present. And the metaphysical, people, is not easy. Africans are the kings of the metaphysical. Nobody has got shit on us. We are the upper class. We are the upper class. We are the everything. And other people from other races and other places admit it too. They agree. There is shit we can do that they can't even imagine. There are things that people can do that nobody can imagine. Okay, like I wake up having been punched in my gut and I can't breathe because I'm all swollen because somebody punched me in my gut, beat the shit out of me while I'm sleeping. And then my ancestors say, okay, you're going to need this kind of protection. You're going to need that. But that's what I'm saying, that we are so strong at doing this shit, and it's so unfortunate that my people have decided to use what they know and what they can do for the ugly. I'm so unfortunate that they've used it to destroy other people. And as much as I want to hang in here, and I do want to hang in here and fight the dark and fight the tides and modernize this shit, there are days like this when it's just not worth it. I'm sure you understand. It's just not worth it. This is not what I wanted of my life. This is not what I wanted. I wanted to write my books, sell my books. I did not need to be a millionaire. Okay, I wanted to sell my books, and I wanted to live quietly. And if those who came around me or came across me, I would read those who came around me and who came across me. I would read them, and life moves on, because this is a gift I was born with, right? Instead, this is consuming my entire life. And it doesn't make me happy. But I can't stop it either, because if I stop it, then I'm really gonna be killed. Then the punching while I'm sleeping will really become the stabbing while I'm sleeping, right? So this makes me stronger, so I have to carry on doing this. For those of you who so love being in the metaphysical world, and those of you who truly believe you're not in the metaphysical world until you are punched in the metaphysical world and you catch that punch. Literally. You're not metaphysical until you wake up with a swollen eye or a swollen stomach, or you can't walk, or you are limping. Because somebody has done this to you. Somebody has attacked you in the metaphysical. You're not metaphysical until you have seen the physical consequences of being a member of that country. And why you would want to be is beyond me. And now for the reading. Like I said, this is very long. So, R. Kelly and Jocelyn and Azriel have been going through some things. My ancestors have obviously been watching this whole thing develop, and they continue to watch it because, one, we made a promise to R. Kelly fans that we'll always continue to watch it. And there are times when we don't do readings because there's absolutely nothing of importance that is going on there. In this case, there were things that they already said that don't need to be said Okay, when Azriel was said to have left and she's in a safe place, blah blah, my ancestors kind of said they're playing people. She's just been moved. Okay, they're playing people. She's just been moved because in the very last reading I did of R. Kelly, my ancestors told you guys that his lawyer is unhappy with his family setup, that his lawyer is unhappy with both Joycelyn and Azriel, and he wants them both gone. And he is convincing R. Kelly, Robert, as I call him, and as we found out, as Joycelyn calls him, right? He is convincing Robert to get rid of both women because they are not a good image. So my ancestors said that Azriel, she was afraid. She was afraid of being forgotten. She was afraid. So she was showing herself on Instagram because she was realizing that, oh my God, I could be dumped. And she was fighting for her position as Robert's babe in his life, right? And they also talked about how Joycelyn was very angry, was not in love with Robert, and was really imprisoned over there. Right? And as it turned out, Joycelyn, I just read the parts, just the first 2 paragraphs, and then my ancestor said of her work that she is writing. We're not even sure if she's writing it. They said the work is not 100% accurate. From the first chapter that they read along with me, they said it wasn't quite kosher. That's so one of the questions we're gonna ask, they sort of saw a man writing it, but he's writing it on behalf of Joycelyn. So she's not actually putting the words on paper. Someone else is doing it for her, and she is this person. I'll just be honest. This is what they said. This person is taking bits and pieces from the other stories of the other women that were written about Robert's other women. He is picking up pieces, bits and pieces, and then he's like putting them together. Then he's getting the information from Joycelyn and adding it in. So it's not actually Joycelyn, and it's not actually her whole story. When she says, see, I follow Nick at night. And when she said, when she wrote that and I wait for Nick at night to read it to me because, I'm not allowed to read it. So, Nick at night she said, oh no, she got scared because of all the blah, blah, blah. And my ancestors said, she is scared, but, she told the person who's writing the story that I am scared, and she kind of disappeared. But this person cannot write this without Joycelyn. So, in essence, in the veil, in the metaphysical world, it doesn't matter who is typing on the board. In the metaphysical world, what matters is the soul that's taking responsibility. So my ancestors are not quite sure, and that's why we're going to do shells on it. But also, we're going to do shells on their entire relationship, Azriel, Robert, and Joycelyn, because Robert is the one who put these things into motion, and we want to see why he put it into motion and why it is happening. And then we'll ask the question whether it's like Joycelyn, it's a 50-50 venture. 2 people are taking responsibility for that book. And this is exactly what my ancestors said. They said it's sex, lies, and videotape, and then some truths. Right? That's exactly how they put it. They said, without even having to read it, because I once did a reading on one of Robert Kelly's women, and she sent me the book she wrote, and I read it. And so when I was reading the first 3 paragraphs, and I was reading with Nick at night, I said, "Ooh, this story sounds familiar." People will say, well, it's the same guy. It's not true, people. A man reacts differently to a woman, every different woman, because of her personality. It's about a personality thing. Not two women have the same personalities. So a man cannot react exactly the same way to two different women. He can't. It's not possible. So there should have been a little bit more of a difference between the book that I read that one of Robert's girlfriends sent to me and this one. And I'm telling you guys, the difference from just the few chapters that I read was like 5%. Okay. 5%. And as a writer, I should know. Okay, as a writer, I should know, because we're all about that. We're all about checking to see if the work is original. And as a writer, I should know. And if she's watching, if Robert's ex-girlfriend who sent me her book to read, girl, if you are watching this video, you want to pay very careful attention. You better join that Patreon, because I feel like some of your experiences are being used in that book. Just letting you know. If you're watching me, girlfriend, letting you know. I feel like some of your experiences are going into that book. And for all of Robert's girlfriends, because I got quite a few who came to me for readings, ex-girlfriends and soon-to-be girlfriends. I got quite a few. And you've all got a book or so. Check. Keep a close eye on that book, because some of those experiences are actually yours. Joycelyn is protecting her privacy very, 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 very much where this book is concerned. She is protecting her privacy. But we'll ask all these questions. But first, I am going to shake Robert, and I'm going to put Robert here. And then I'm going to shake one woman at a time, right? So I'm going to do Robert. We might as well find out how he's doing in prison. Robert. Robert is ill. I think I read somewhere that he had a toe infection or something. I'm not seeing it as a toe infection, as he is standing in my plate and he's wearing like a tracksuit of some kind. It's like grayish sort of. He is. It's. Okay, so he says it's a toe infection, but the toe infection then goes up, right down to his asshole. I am so serious. Right down to, I don't know. You know that piles, like my family suffers from piles a lot. It's like he has piles. He has sores around his anus. Really, he has sores around his anus, big sores, and they are being medicated and they are not healing. He's having trouble healing them. It's like when he was out of prison, he was keeping whatever it is that is damaging him in check, but in prison he's struggling, and that's why they want to get him out. They want to get him out of prison because he's got piles. I don't know what you people would call them in this part of the world, but in my part of the world they're called piles, when you get those huge big sores around your anus. And his are massive. He's got like these huge piles, and they are affecting his walk, and they are extremely excruciating. But he is very well taken care of in that prison. He has not gone through any kind of abuse, and he's sort of like the king. He is like the king, but he hates being locked up, obviously, and he hates the 0-star accommodation, obviously, and he's a king in there. He is a king, but he needs to get out because he has this disease that is not being, or infection or whatever, and it's not being well maintained where he is, whereas he was maintaining it very well with money. Like I said before, you guys, and nobody was believing me when I said Robert has money, and now the FBI has fished out some of his money. Okay. I told you guys the guy had money. So he needs his money for his health, and that is understandable. Okay, let's see. He's showing me his handcuffs. Like, look, they've chained me up, and he's chained. Basically, he's just telling me where he is. He's in prison. And there's a real reluctance to let him out. And he is telling me he's going to fight. He's going to fight. But there's a real reluctance to let him out. If that makes sense. Real reluctance. So he is depressed. He is literally like talking to me. He says he's living like an animal and nobody should live like this. And he doesn't know what he did wrong. This goes with Robert. He doesn't know what he did wrong because everybody in the situation consented to this shit happening. Right? Okay. So, should I take you out and bring in Azrael, or you don't mind having Azrael in the plate with you? Okay, I'm going to call Azrael. We're going to start with Miss Azrael. 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 And Azrael is very, very, very angry at Robert. Very angry at Robert. I really do feel she was dumped because of the lawyer, because she's so angry, guys. She walked into that place. She's got such a big bust. She walked into that place and she was like, And then she looked at him very angrily. Then she walked past him and then she went to sit down. She's all dressed in black. She's so angry. She is so furious at him. And so I just need this for distance. Somebody asked me during my photo shoot for A Light in the Cave why I need my grandmother's walking stick. And I said for distance, because I don't want to be possessed by the spirits. So this is what separates me from them. Literally, my grandmother's power separates me from them. Because some of them kind of take over. Like if you've watched some of my videos, you'll notice that some of them kind of take over. There are videos where I was swearing like crazy because those characters swear. They used to swear. And people said, you're not swearing, but I just didn't want to get into explaining that, right? So anyway, today I'm hyper emotional. So it also saves the person I'm reading, right? So, okay. So, she says, you betrayed me. She's talking to him, which makes us kind of right. Because we did see the lawyer telling him to get rid of her. And he's telling her, let me shut up. He's telling her this is only temporary, baby. This is only temporary. And she is not believing him. She is so furious. But she has been with several other men since. Because right outside the place, there are several men who are standing behind her. And Robert, the soul, is looking at those souls. And he's saying to her, it's not like you are not without company. And she's just so furious. She is very furious. So yeah, Azrael is doing her business. And look at that. Okay, so. Okay. So, So, this is a very interesting spread. And as always, for those who have been with me since the beginning of the R. Kelly situation, and something fell here. I'm trying to, let me see if I can get the shell because I want to look at it. Oh, thank you. Okay, so this is the shell. I'm just going to put it here. Someone has a relationship is irrevocably broken down between Robert and someone else. That someone has run away. That someone is no longer in their lives. That someone, not run away. That someone has been kicked away. That someone has been thrown away with a never again, never again. We'll see if this is Joycelyn. Because my ancestors kind of thought she had been dumped. Anyway, as always, when it comes to Robert, he's always on the left. So this is Robert right here. This is a woman who loves him. And these are two kids. Always. Very fascinating. A boy and a girl. The girl is very light in complexion. The boy is very dark in complexion. And this is Azriel. And Robert really thinks Azriel is so gorgeous. He thinks she's such a beautiful woman. And they make a threesome. So there is one female who is definitely gone. And one female who is hanging in there. And one female who's still with him. And she and Robert make a family. Yeah, she's still with him. This is very interesting. This relationship, whichever it is, and I think we've been following it for a while, they are much closer now than they were before. It's very interesting. But this is Azriel. She's definitely very beautiful, and she's definitely not in love with Robert. And whether she likes it or not, she is going back where she came from. She's literally, guys, going back where she came from. Literally. She's literally going back where she came from. But this triangle between her and Robert shows that she's still with Robert. He still considers her his. And she still considers herself with Robert. But like I said before, there are other men in her life. But each man is a backward step into where she's into going back to where she came from. What I'm saying in other words is, maybe Robert was a mega millionaire. She's now sleeping with like maybe a manager, like a $40,000 job, or maybe a security person or someone like that. And then she's going to go even lower. She's going to go even lower to someone even lower. If you look right here, this girl has no money. This girl used to have money. This girl was very pampered and very happy, and she used to have money. She was taken care of. Her life was good. Now, there is no money. It's like she's kind of with these men also for support. Yeah, she's with a man. Azriel is living with a man. She's living with a man. And her leaving Trump Tower or whatever, the way she did, was his idea, his suggestion, to keep her safe until after the trial. Then we can be together again. He is still wanting to keep her. And it was all like a plan. And she's living with a man. I think, let's see, someone who works for Robert, like his security person or someone. And Robert knows that these two are getting down. He doesn't care. But now let's go to this one whom we always pick up and we don't even know who she is. But, you know, she has a lot of money right now. He changed his mind. At some point, he changed his mind. The first times we used to read him, he was going to leave Azriel all the money. Now, it appears that this one, who was totally in the background or whatever, is getting all the money. And the one daughter, the little girl, very young, he kind of puts money in her name too. He kind of puts money in her name. I guess it's a way of hiding his money. So maybe it's in suitcases under the bed, but yeah. So will they get back together? Before we go to Jocelyn, Azrael, will you and Robert get back together? Will you and Robert get back together? He is looking at her as if she is. He's looking at her very charmingly, but he's looking at her like, by the time I get out, she'll be too old. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, by the time I get out, she'll be too old. And she is looking at him and she's doubting that they'll be together. She's doubting it, but she wants it, right? She says, it's the only life I know and the only life I want, okay? She's very lazy. Okay. So let us take it out. 1, 2, 3. Will you get back together? 1, 2, 3. Oh my God, I got extenuating circumstances. That's a no. That is a big no. But you know what, guys? That's what I love about shells. There is a baby or a miscarriage or an abortion that Azrael just had. And he's holding it against her. He's holding it against her. As much as they love each other, this is a very nice no, though. As much as they love each other, he still has a lot of love for Azrael. And she, underneath her anger, still has a lot of love for him. As much as they love each other, the metaphysical is saying no, the relationship is over. So what are you going to do now, Azrael? What are you going to do now? What are you going to do now, Azrael? Okay, 5. Alrighty. Well, Azrael is more ruined than me, okay? Oh my God. See, at least I can laugh. Okay. She's more ruined than me. This shell says all her money. See, these girls never had money. Never had money. And he kept them penniless. And, well, whatever little money that he left her with, it's all gone. It's all gone. So Azrael is being told here that she has to start fending for herself. She has to start working. She has to start making money somehow. And she has to take care of herself. And I'm telling you guys, there's a baby. I saw it before and I just said, okay, maybe it's a miscarriage, whatever, because, you know, Robert is in prison, but, you know, Azrael could get pregnant by anybody, right? So obviously it was a very tiny little pregnancy right there. But I'm telling you, this is a child. This is Azrael. This is a child. And it's not Robert's. But anyway, she will now have other responsibilities that she has to take care of. She's going to create some kind of a family. That it's being said here that if she works really, really hard, which she doesn't like to do because she's extremely lazy, she might actually be all right. She'll be okay. She will be okay. Okay, so now let's go. We already have Robert, but now we're going to Jocelyn. Robert, he's already in here, okay? I'm not kicking out Azrael, okay? I'm just going to let her stay. Okay, I'm going to call Jocelyn. Okay, now you're all going to be shocked because I am shocked. Jocelyn walks into the plate and she gives Robert a back hug. She just did that. She just gave him a back hug. She's so happy to see him. But let me wait for his reaction. Oh, he turns around and he hugs her back. He hugs her back. And she says, I've missed you. And he says nothing. He is toying with her, playing with her. They're playing with each other. That makes sense. They're faking it with each other, like hiding things. Yeah. Okay, let's take them out of the plate. We might as well see what's going on here. Okay. As always, this is Robert. And this is Jocelyn. And Jocelyn's shell is wide open. See, loss of money. Both these two people are losing money. It's wide open and it's looking in that direction. Basically, Jocelyn is talking. Okay? She is talking. And she is talking about Robert. She is talking. And she is doing it for the money, for fame, and to get back what she lost. Her singing career. Two men are helping her. This one and this one. You know, when I put my hand here, I feel like it's her father. Is it her father? Yeah, her dad is involved somehow. Two men are helping her talk. They have convinced her that it will change the way people think about her. It will change the way they feel about her. And she can go back to doing music and to being a music star. You know, she is talking about Robert. But guess what, guys? Her triangle is really not going in a good direction. It's going in the direction of destruction. What she's doing is going to destroy her. But it'll give her some money. It'll give her some money. But the money will be shared. This girl does not appear to ever have anything of her own. The money will be shared equally between her and another person. So that kind of makes sense. Yeah, she's talking. Okay. And this is Robert again. He is staring at somebody who is also talking. He couldn't give a damn about what Jocelyn is saying. He doesn't give a fuck. There is someone who is talking, a woman. We don't know her, but she's talking to the authorities, and he is so concerned. He says she could take him to the electric chair, but he's thinking worst case scenario. She is talking about him as well. So Robert has got two women right now who are talking about him. He's not worried about what Jocelyn is doing. He's worried about what she is doing, what she's talking about. And he feels it'll be detrimental to him. It will not be good. And then there is someone else, another woman who is talking to Timothy Savage. It could be that Jocelyn's story is the story of more than one of them, because this woman right here is definitely telling Jocelyn's father. This whole thing that we are seeing is an act that has been enacted for us. But Joycelyn is doing it for financial survival. She is poor, and these people are doing it to enhance their finances. But what we get out of this reading is that all the people on this board are all going to self-destruct. They are all, this triangle is leaning in that direction. They are all going to self-destruct. I asked her why she even started talking about this, and she said she's hungry. She's very hungry, and besides, Robert had favoritism, and he didn't favor me. I was the least of his favorites because they were things I would not do. But he loved her skin complexion, and he genuinely thought she was beautiful. And so she tended to have a lot of attention that she did not want to have. He is so concerned about this woman. There will be 2 women whose cases will stick. And there will be 2 women. Because some of the women, their cases are not sticking. Do you remember when I did those readings and there were so many shells here? You guys remember that? And now there's so few. They will, because so many women went and, I'm suing her again. And they are all being dismissed one by one. But there are 2 females, this one and this one, whose cases and whose stories and whose evidence is so strong, they will not be dismissed. Interestingly enough, the one who will get him to go away for longer is this one. And she is somehow secretly talking to Timothy Savage. And he's secretly channeling it to whatever they're trying to do to give Joycelyn money. Okay. But she will get him sentenced the longest in comparison to the one he's worried about. But I don't think he realizes that yet, because I'm in the metaphysical. And I can see it. But he's worried about the wrong female. He should be worrying about the other female that he is not looking at. So let's ask Joycelyn. Although my ancestors are saying the book is a group effort. So is Joycelyn writing on Patreon? Is Joycelyn writing on Patreon? I get a yes. I get a deal was made on her behalf. But let's see what the shells say. This deal might have fallen through. Okay. It is a no. It's a no. Somebody might be writing the story on their own. Okay, I'm going to ask again just to be sure. Is Joycelyn writing on Patreon? I'm always surprised and shocked. Well, more knows. Okay. Is Joycelyn writing on Patreon? Is Joycelyn writing on Patreon? Is Joycelyn writing on Patreon? 1, 2, 3. Let us see. Once again, that's a no. This is a no, people. Okay. Is Joycelyn writing on Patreon? A third time. Is Joycelyn writing on Patreon? Is Joycelyn writing on Patreon? Is Joycelyn writing on Patreon? And now we say yes. So, I'm going to go with what my ancestors said when they first saw it. They said she is a reluctant participant. She is giving a little bit of information here or there. But someone else is doing the writing for her, and they're actually doing research. And like I said at the beginning, that there were too many similarities between the book that one of R. Kelly's ex-girlfriends sent me and the story. And in the metaphysical, it's impossible for a man to be. There are things that stay the same, but not everything, if that makes sense. Let me give an example. The fact that he loves to eat sausages is something that will stay. And how he likes to eat his sausages is something that will stay. How he reacts to you, like Kevin McCall, he really only beats women that he actually really knows. Right? Like, you have to know him for a certain period of time for him to punch your ass. So which means that he has to get really comfortable with you. The guy has a temper. I just watched his video when he was insulting some woman and she was still trying to be nice. And I was thinking, girl, I would have left him with a check. In the first place, I don't invite men to dinner. I'm not paying. If you want this goodie bag, you have to pay. So anyway, he was just rude. He wouldn't have hit her. But had they gone on 3 or more dates, he would have beat her, right? Now, along comes Diana come lately, and she said, I met him an hour ago and he beat the shit out of me. That's possible. Bad example. But anyway, that's possible. But in other words, if you check out the length of time it took for Kevin McCall to beat his women, you would find that it's kind of similar, right? Maybe 3 out of 5 women would have exactly the same experience, but the other 2 might say, oh, he beat me in an hour after we met. The other 2 might say that. And a psychologist would say, why? That's what I'm trying. Anyway, the point is, bad example. The point is, a man is different with every woman. There are some things that he does that are the same, that are similar. Okay, yeah, not the same. Some things that he does that are similar, but not everything is the same. Like, if you all notice in the story that people are reading, Jocelyn takes her parents right out of the story. They are blameless. They are so blameless. It's about her and her friends. Yet the metaphysical says, no, her parents sold her. And there are pictures to prove that when she first met R. Kelly, she was with her parents. But she nicely got rid of that. Something to think about, right? And then she fell in love with a man 3 years later, which is possible, because women do tend to fall in love after a much... Men fall in love on sight. Women tend to fall in love after some time. That is very possible, but I don't know how to explain it. You guys have to read all the books to see the similarities, to see the places where there are similarities and there shouldn't be. Okay. So what's going to happen? Okay, I think we already did Jocelyn and what's going to happen to her. Okay, let's ask. What's going to happen to you, Jocelyn? I keep getting that somebody tried to sell her story to the book publishers and whatever, and nobody would touch it. Robert's products have become, like I heard Nick at Night say that you don't get monetization for a Robert Kelly video, and I said, well, my ancestors won't allow me to monetize, so I wouldn't, I don't care. But it's the same as in the publishing world. It's like the books about Robert that came on and people were hailing them as amazing. The publishing world has discovered a lot of untruths, right? And so now it's like they're not touching anything to do with Robert Kelly, especially from his women. But if she were to wait like for 5 years or so, maybe even longer, like 10 years or so, she would be able to write a real book and a real story, and publishers will be able to accept it. So what's next for you, Jocelyn? Good question is, where is she? Jocelyn, where are you? Are you still with Robert? Are you still with Robert? Are you still with Robert? This girl never liked him. This girl wanted to go, and this girl was very angry. And that's a no. She's definitely not with him. She has definitely moved on. And when I put my hand here, my grandmother says, of course, he dumped them. The lawyer said they were not a good look. There you go. So what are you going to do next in your life, Joycelyn? Joycelyn. Because I was calling her Joycelyn. What are you going to do with the rest of your life? What are you going to do with the rest of your life? She is getting married, I think. Yes! She's getting married. She is getting married. This is love right here. This is love. The love is very much, the man is more in love with the woman. This is Joycelyn. This is her future husband. Very much in love. Very, very much in love. There will be 2 pregnancies. One of a very pretty little girl. She's not going to make it. She shall decide to leave. She shall decide to go back to the veil before she is born. And a son. Very early into that relationship. It appears that Robert's girls, they want to have kids quickly. And a son. But yeah, she's getting married, or she'll be in a relationship that we in the veil, those in the veil, consider to be marriage. She's getting married. And he is someone she has known for a long time. He has money. He has money. He's protecting her somehow. He's like, I don't know, taking care of her somehow. He has money. So that's what she's going to be doing. And on that note, guys, I've done my updates. I find Robert so easy to do. I don't know why. I don't know why. But my soul is tired. My soul is in pain. So I have to go. Bye. Bye. I have to find this first.